Okay, so let's be honest. This series was destined to go 7 games. I don't know why, but this just feels right. And maybe the home team will finally win a game. I don't know. But the big stories of this one were the Clippers kind of slowed down Kawhi. They brought the extra attention on him. Not Kawhi, Luka. They brought the extra attention on him on the screens. They had Kawhi pick him up earlier in a possession, like right after he passes half court, as opposed to giving him all the backcourt space to do whatever he wants. And they brought the extra defenders, and they just made Luka a passer, and it still worked out for most of the game. He had 11 assists, he had a few hockey assists, but eventually Dallas just couldn't get a couple extra baskets to go. And some of it was missed open threes, sure, but if you're not allowing Luka to get into the paint and you're not allowing him to draw contact and all that, then you would hope just eventually it's going to sway in your favor, which it did in this game. And to think about what the Clippers could have done differently, I mean the Mavs, sorry. I mean, for one, it would have been nice if Luka just made a couple more step-back threes, but they had a couple of plays earlier in the game, mainly in the first half that I do remember. They had one where they had Luka set a screen for the ball handler, and it forced Reggie Jackson to switch onto him. That got Kawhi off of him. They had another play where he threw it to Willie Cauley-Stein, and then Luka cut off of that. I feel like they might have to explore more of that type of thing. There was also that play in the fourth quarter where they double-teamed Luka. He threw it to, I want to say it was Hardaway or Finney-Smith in the top of the key, and then he went down kind of around the baseline, and then he came back out real quick, and he made a three over Reggie Jackson. So they're probably going to have to do more of that type of stuff to get Luka his shots, because if the Clippers are able to turn him into a pass-first guy, then I don't think Dallas is going to win, unless the shooting is just insane, which, hey, it was for the first two games, and at times Tim Hardaway Jr. seems like he can make any shot. So it's still possible, but if you're the Clippers, you have to like those odds, as opposed to Luka just switching on to whoever he wants to switch on to, comfortably getting into his step back and the mid-range and those turnaround Dirk-esque mid-rangers. Morris defended him well on a few of those, and he just made them anyway, but still, you can't have him comfortably taking those tough shots, and we'll see. We'll see how Dallas counters that. We'll see if they get more creative with Luka off-ball stuff. The Boban minutes were something in this game. I don't know. At times it looks good. At times it looks like the Clippers can get a three-pointer anytime they want to. I don't know. Anyway, let's get to Kawhi, because my goodness. I mean, just some of his baskets in the fourth. There was that pull-up over Dorian Finney-Smith, which was like, I don't know, maybe 7 feet away from the basket or whatever. There was the one where he relocated for a mid-ranger over Willie Cauley-Stein, because I believe the Mavs actually brought a double on him, and it forced him to pass it out, and then he eventually just got a shot from around 16 feet. And then he had the series of ISO jumpers, one over Luka, where he was going after Luka on the screens, and the Mavs were giving Kawhi the switch. So a bit of what we were telling the Clippers to not do against Luka earlier in the series, maybe now we're saying the same thing about the Mavs against Kawhi. So he made one over Luka that was like mid-range, a little bit above the free throw line. He had the one on the left elbow over him. There was one over Dorian Finney-Smith that was similar. And Kawhi was just, I mean, he was unreal in this game. There was that three where he relocated off of the free throw jump ball. There was the one-handed put-back dunk. There was, I remember one time he had another one where he went at Luka one-on-one, and he had like this weird sort of scoop shot, hook shot thing from like 10 feet out or whatever it was. There was, of course, one play in transition where he just got a screen real quick from, I don't remember who, but Willie Cauley-Stein didn't step up on the screen, and he got a three off of that. And, the Dallas, I don't know. The Mavs brought a double on Kawhi, at least one time that I remember in that fourth quarter. They did force him to pass it out, and I believe it resulted in an open Luke Kennard three in the corner, which did not go in. But perhaps the Mavs need to explore that sort of thing. Now, it's tough because you bring that double, the Clippers have a lot of shooters, but, I mean, you need to do something besides just allowing Kawhi to just do his between the legs dribbles a couple times, and then or it's the jab steps, and then just getting into his jumper, because Dallas does not have anyone tall enough to bother him on those. I mean, they were trying Kleba throughout the series, and well, it just never really worked, and nothing is going to work that much on Kawhi, but perhaps just forcing the ball out of his hands and hoping that the other guys don't kill you is the best bet, similar to what the Clippers pretty much did against Luka in this thing. So yeah, that was a great game. It really was. And I think for Game 7, besides just all the game plan stuff, can Luka get some action off ball? You going to bring extra attention to Kawhi? I already know Kawhi can do stuff off ball. I mean, I remember he had one or two plays where he relocated as the Mavs had their zone going on to get himself, one was that reverse dunk over Porzingis. One was, I think there was another cut play that I don't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, besides those, I think the minutes are going to be really interesting. Because in a Game 7, well, obviously it's a Game 7. And we've seen the story of the Mavs in this whole thing without Luka in the game. And, I mean, expecting him to play 48 minutes and do something on defense while everything he does on offense, that's probably too much to ask, but he might have to go 45 minutes or something, and we'll just see if he's built for that. I mean, Luka, he's not exactly shredded. He's more in shape than, let's say, Paul Pierce was, but we'll see. Does he have the stamina to go for a full game because they just have no way of taking him out? I mean, you can try your Jalen Brunson, Tim Hardaway stuff and hope for the best, but I mean, we saw in this fourth quarter, yeah, I mean, Kawhi still brought it home with his tough shot making, but PG also came alive, and I think part of that was because Dallas couldn't generate that many points in the fourth quarter. Luka's not out there. PG got some transition opportunities. I believe he had one or two just classic PG ISOs into a pull-up mid-range or whatever, and then you call a timeout, and then Kawhi just did what he did. So that'll be interesting. Dwight Powell, I don't think he played a whole lot in this game. I could check the minutes, but whatever. He clearly didn't have as big of an impact as he did in the last game. And, for a Game 7, are we sure that the Boban thing's going to keep working? Because it just seems so up and down, where there's some stretches where it's the rim protection is really bothering the Clippers, and there's other times where they're going at Boban and screens, they're attacking the zone really fast off of screens, and they're just getting three-pointers because it's four guys on the perimeter trying to defend five guys. We'll see. I think Dwight Powell, the ceiling of Powell is not as high as Boban because he can't make him pay in the post as much. But I think defensively you've got a better chance of him, moving around defensively. So that'll be interesting. I can't wait for Game 7. Is there anything else? I mean, in a Game 7, it's really anything. I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith could go 0 for 7 from 3. He could go 6 for 7 from 3. Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to attempt at least 4 or 5 crazy threes. We'll see how he does there. A lot of the shots that Kawhi made tonight, he could just not make in Game 7. There's, of course, Paul George, who has a history of not exactly being amazing all the time in a deep playoff series. We remember when he was played to a stalemate by Joe Ingles and whatever else. So, yeah, man, great game, great series, and can't wait. The big things are, you're going to bring extra attention to Kawhi, and is Luka going to get some more off-ball stuff, or just something creative to where it's not just every single time where the Clippers can bring extra attention on him?